When you play Ready or Not, what is the first thing you think of when you run into a mission? Is it the fact that some of the guys might be armored? Is it close quarters? Can you use an AR there no problem without, getting too jammed up in doorways? There's a lot of small things you need to think of, right? But there's a few consistencies you can come up with, right? Usually your own aim, and also the ammo you bring in, alongside, your guns, of course, right? These things do matter heavily, obviously, but some of them matter more than others. Like, I would argue that aim is more important than the ammo type you bring in, but also there are times where the ammo type is the more important part, because I'm a guy that likes to use everything that I can to learn, what's what. JHPs can be strong in their own right, but against certain targets, usually the armored guys, it's a little bit weaker, right? It's fitting its role because JHP is for fleshy targets, AP rounds are for medium armor and up, because JHP still does light armor. But they also have different recoils. They affect guns differently. I went ahead and just went to the range and I grabbed a very squirrely gun, okay? Just to show you that, yeah, the gun can be a little bit, much on the kick, but this thing, it will show you the differences in the ammo types too. Single fire and full auto, they are affected differently. All these first tests you see is just me letting the recoil go. The true recoil of the gun is shown off here, right? These first few, APs. You throw in JHP instead, you'll see it a little bit. It's a little different. I think in my armor piercing, first test, I tried to, not control the recoil, but instinctively, I controlled it on the first few shots, so it's not exactly one to one, but the real, differences come out whenever you use these things full auto and you're actively controlling the recoil more than just what they naturally do to the gun when you don't fuck with it at all, right? Because this gun in particular, it's an SMG, it's very squirrely. But here's the controlled tests right here. AP first, and then JHP. I'm pretty sure for the AP, I just straight up held down, did what I could with it. With JHP, you'll see me stop controlling it for a split second and catch it again, like right there. Because it's just so steady, you can fucking do that. I was able to control this thing to such a point where I was actually pushing the gun down. So, the testing ground today, though, is Valley of the Dolls, because fuck this guy, Amos Vol. Now, shots like this, where it's just straight up headshots, AP, JHP, doesn't fucking matter. And that's kind of the whole point of this whole video, right? Is like, I wanted to see what people think, basically. Aim versus ammo types. What would you prioritize? Because if you can get headshots, it doesn't matter what ammo you bring in. It'll only matter when you actually go for the body shots, right? From what I can tell, especially on Valley of the Dolls, right? You have targets that are armored, yes, but it's light armor, maybe medium, sorry. When I say light armor, I mean that they are lightly armored, as in it's only really on the chest, right? They're not coming in with face masks, anything else crazy. Their limbs are still left in play. You can mess those things up with JHP all day. But if you bring AP in and you just go for body shots, you'll notice the difference if you were to bring JHP and do the same thing, right? A lot of these guys go down in, what, 1, 2 taps with the APs, maybe 3 if you bring a gun that has like a light caliber in it, because yes, that does matter, of course. You bring in a 5.56 gun, it'll perform differently with APs than a 9mm would with APs, obviously. So, that does matter. That is the third factor in the equation that I've been trying to, basically rack my brain over. Is like, as you see here, these are AP rounds. You shoot a guy in the chest sometimes, and it's like you hit him with a damn beanbag shotgun. JHPs probably would have done the same exact thing there, probably to a worse degree, where you would have probably wasted more bullets for that same effect, right? So, honestly, a lot of the time, you can probably just get away with AP rounds if you just aim chests and you don't want to waste a whole bunch of ammo, right? The fleshier targets you may waste an extra bullet or two, which, you know, game logic, right? But it's probably to make you try the JHPs. That's why a guy like me, I would argue that if you run the steadier round, which to me is the JHP rounds, and just train your brain to go for headshots, that's probably better in the long run than just slapping on AP rounds every day of the week and just calling it a day. You know, full auto and do whatever. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you do you. But for those that are trying to optimize, you know, their playstyles, their loadouts, whatever, these are the questions you have to ask yourself at the end of the day. Now, granted, the average person playing this game probably will just throw AP rounds in their guns, maybe a few extra mags, especially if they're going to go full auto, and just call it a day there, probably. The extra mags to compensate for maybe a few missed shots, a few spots where they get jump scared and they just have to blast at them, you know, empty mag, all that noise. These are situations where the actual ammo type would matter quite a bit, obviously, but it also only matters if you don't trust your aim, right? If you're a person that knows you can hit shots, then yeah, you can just bring in whatever and it doesn't really matter because your aim is what's carrying you sometimes, right? Like I say, aim is probably more important than ammo, but I see value in bringing the right ammo type and also pairing it with proper aim, which isn't always going to be 100% accurate, right? You're only human. That's where the actual ammo types, the right ones you bring, whichever one it is, will compensate, usually. One thing I have learned for sure after running Valley of the Dolls for just this whole run of testing rounds is that it's heavily map dependent on which ammo type you should probably bring. Granted, you can get away with just one or the other on 9 out of 10 maps, but there's a few maps that probably require AP. I say require, it's only if you're going for those chest shots, the body shots. If you can hit headshots, none of that shit matters, because usually a target will die in one go on the head. But, you know, lag, whatever, you know, bug, glitch, whatever the fuck. Shit like that can happen and it just doesn't one tap. So, bringing the right ammo and just going for body taps, depending on the gun, you can get consistent 2 taps with certain ones like this SR-16. On this map especially, you know, you have to hit a guy maybe a third time. Who cares? You know, a third shot in comparison to just 2 is not that bad, but 6 shots in comparison to 5 and 4, you feel those a lot more. So, you know, test out all the guns, you know, try out the maps, all the different ones with those different guns, different setups. You'll learn that they perform differently on this map compared to that one. Certain ones it'll feel nearly, you know, identical, you know, completely different, or you won't even notice a difference at all at some points. So grab your favorite stuff, load up the fucking mission you want to run, and just run it. I mean, if you're in here with the lethal setups, you know, you're not in here for the grades. You're in here just to have a good time. So, the important thing is finding what you enjoy, with the setups you like, and just running that until you get tired of it and finding a new one if you can. A question like aim versus ammo really only matters to the person that is trying to get better, to understand the game on a deeper level. The average person really doesn't need to care about, you know, the aim versus ammo thing, the whole like, okay, let me optimize it this way, that way. No, you can get away with just using whatever in this game for as long as you want. And, you know, it wouldn't matter at all as long as you're having fun. That's the most important part, obviously. But for a guy like me, you know, I like to learn about the games I play. I like to figure out the nitty gritty, you know, what makes the games kind of tick in a way, but I don't go like crazy down the rabbit hole, right? Just purely from like gameplay perspective, right? So it's not much, but it's the small things I think of while I'm playing, like what actually does matter, one or the other. Really, I think the answer is both. And yeah, it could be easy to just say like, oh, the simple answer is this, that, but the more you think about it, I think the more it kind of dwells on you. It's like, which one actually fucking matters a lot more? Being able to aim, wasting less shots overall, or just bring a bunch more ammo, full auto the bitch, and just say fuck it, you know? Like, you could just bring in like 10 rounds, not rounds, sorry, 10 mags of JHP to twist a nerve, and you would obliterate in that place, man. If you did the same thing with AP, you might waste a few shots here and there, but like, if you have that many mags, who fucking cares, man? So, that's why I say, just go in and use fucking whatever. Well, it doesn't matter, you know? At the end of the day, because I've sat here, I've contemplated this, I thought about it, and like, yeah, either answer is right. And then even the in-between is right, where you use both. But I would argue that, yeah, they also don't matter. Like, it doesn't. You know, you could just get by with just being like, yeah, fuck it. 7.62 AP, go burr, I guess, you know? No, I know. Not very convincing or anything, and it's like, why the fuck did you even do this? Well, it was really more to pose the question to the people that play this game. If they've even thought about it, you know, what they may think on it. That kind of shit interests me. It's not just my opinion I fucking care about. I like to hear about, you know, how other people think that have been playing this game for a lot longer than me, you know, or even people that are playing it for the first time like myself, you know. It's just interesting to hear what people think about that kind of stuff. I don't know. Could just be weird like that, but, you know, there's a little insight into my brain, I guess.
Am I right?
Woo! Good drop. That was impressive.
Gonk you, buddy? Thank you.